What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Easy Convo. I'm Zaid. I'm here with my co-host Emmanuel Bird. Today we got a special guest coming for you guys.
Man, you can see you already know what's going on with it. Kyle, you see how we coming with it, man? We got the suits on for you, brother. We feeling good.
Yep, y'all
Sunday
look
best on. You said what?
appreciate
We
y'all
look good?
good in here today, man. Y'all look good. Appreciate it.
100%, man. Like we said, we feeling good about this episode, man. We're very excited for our guest. This is a Kansas City basketball no name. This is a no name around Kansas City basketball. If you've been playing or if you've been in the spaces, you know who this is. We're very excited to have him on today to notarize what some of the things he's done. Missouri Kansas City Gatorade Player of the Year, a state champion, a third place state champion, a state qualifier, multiple jewel tournament championships. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of things that this guy has done during his time at Kansas City basketball. He spent time at University of North Carolina, Colorado State, and now taking his talents to Minnesota University, where he's going to continue to thrive on the basketball floor. We are very honored to have our guest today, Kyan Evans.
Appreciate you.
Snaps, big snaps for the guy, man. Big snaps.
Yeah, kind of, man. Just to start off, like tell the audience, a little bit about yourself, and obviously you mentioned you're from Kansas City, but kind of how KC shaped the way you approached the game growing up.
Yeah, obviously Kansas City. I was born in Iowa, but moved here when I was like one. So born and raised here basically. But yeah, kind of basketball started off just family thing. We all played it. So it's kind of playing basketball as I was growing up and third grade, I went over to Wolverines, played with Coach Felicia and
Oh,
some of the, I mean, some guys, everybody, kind of know the guys, but played for the Wolverines in third grade, and that's kind of where basketball started for me and kind of took off from a competitive perspective. And, ever since then, just kind of meeting people in the Kansas City area and just kind of building those relationships through basketball and flourishing that way.
100%, man. And I feel like every time we have athletes on, it's for their sport specific. We've had cyclists and MMA fighters and things like that. And it's always interesting to hear, like, what are some of those sports that you played growing up, or was it only basketball? I know you were in some other sports, if you mind touching on those as well.
Yeah, I played baseball until third grade, a little third baseman. I was all right, a little third baseman, but baseball wasn't for me. I didn't really like to hit. Was kind of scared, to get hit by the ball. So I quit baseball like third grade. I played football until sixth grade. Um, some people really know me as a quarterback for real, but that had to end for me too. And then seventh grade on, it was just straight basketball. But I played baseball, football when I was younger too. So a few other sports.
definitely, man. Obviously you have an older brother that plays basketball too. Growing up, what was it like to have an older brother, to play basketball with, developing the game with?
Yeah, I think that obviously played a huge role in my success and just being able to watch him play from a young age and just watch what he does every day and honestly just kind of be around him and his friends and play basketball with them. We was always outside playing. I'm always playing older people, so I think that definitely had a lot to do with my success and just kind of the things I learned through him.
100%, man. Like when you touch on third grade competitive basketball really starts to pick up for you, playing for the Wolverines, playing for Coach Felicia and things like that. How does that competitive nature continue to grow in you as the years go on? Like it's not often that kids get to start that high level of basketball that early. So being able to be in that position, how do you feel that that kind of shaped you a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think my parents, putting me in that position, looking back on it is definitely something that they blessed me with and kind of just put me in position to succeed. But just doing something like that early, it just kind of shows, um, in my YMCA league, I mean, I played YMCA before that, but it's just competitive difference. So when you get to there and kind of like, okay, there's some other kids that might be a little better than me, you got to kind of, you in your head, I mean, you're a kid, but that competitiveness just kind of tells you just got to get better. And I think that's something that really made me who I am today is just people around me pushing me to be as good as possible.
100%. And obviously you made that transition, play for Power Group in middle school. Shout out Power Group.
Shout out
Uh,
Power.
Do you feel like, obviously kind of touched on it right there, but do you feel like being around those guys, from a young age and seeing all the different high levels of talent in the Kansas City area kind of, pushed you in a direction basketball wise that you wanted to get and see yourself thrive in?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's maybe a kid in Kansas City that's 2 years older or a year younger than me that I haven't played at some point and seen in person and just kind of been able to look at and not necessarily compare myself, but just from a competitive perspective, just be like, okay, he's here and I'm there. So just Kansas City as a whole perspective, the basketball community, I think everybody just kind of pushes each other to go further and it's different than a lot of cities. I know, like some of my teammates in college, I ask them, like, do you know this guy from your state? And they might not even know him. And I'm like, Kansas City is kind of like, even Missouri as a whole and Kansas side, we
True
all
that.
know each other. And we all know it's competitive. We all want to be the best. So I think that's something that Kansas City definitely has that, might not be shown a lot.
I'm really glad you touched on that last point too, because I think that that kind of touches on we obviously have a relationship outside of basketball and things like that, Kai, and that's how we started to really become friends. But I think back to like the first time we met, and I don't know if you remember this, but like at Worlds of Fun, you know what I'm saying? We just had the headband on, glasses, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
but just speaking on those relationships and like seeing guys that okay, I compete with this person or this is somebody that I've played against, but this is also a good friend of mine. This is also somebody that I hang out with off the court. We go to class together and things like that. And how do you say I don't want to say aids to Kansas City basketball, but how would you say that aids to the way you grew up playing basketball and the way that you see it?
Yeah, I think I think that just is also a big part of it. Just the people in Kansas City is, we're competitive on the court and off the court. We all kind of come together and are cool. I think like even kind of like the runs, like we have runs in the summer, and I mean there's like 5, 6 different runs that people are putting on in Kansas City that you can really go to and have some good bump. So it's like when you got a community of guys that one like to hoop that much, and two are just like good dudes and together and all want to kind of have the same goal. I think that just builds on top of it. So I think we got something good going here, and it's only growing too.
Definitely, man. Especially with, like the likes of like Spence League, other type of leagues and pickup stuff like that. I think Kansas City is like really
Yeah,
tight.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Me and E were talking before the podcast. You get to high school, your freshman year, COVID happens, and you kind of talked about to me like, this was the time you really saw you kind of separate yourself in basketball, and you really started to pop off after COVID. Kind of talk about that time for you, kind of what your experience was like, and how you separated yourself mentally during that
Hold
time.
on. Hey, Zayd, I don't mean to cut you off here real quick, but we ain't gonna breeze. You don't want to breeze past middle school real quick. You
It's
know,
the
not
breeze,
real
man.
quick, because when what was it like running into some of those teams in middle school, like Maple Park, or some of them tougher groups, some of them tougher groups that
Uh,
really challenge.
Look though, seventh grade, Newmark. We were young.
Okay,
Had some seventh graders playing eighth grade. We took some L's, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie. We lost to Maple Park first game, first middle school
rough group.
game.
It was a rough group, Zayd.
It was a tough outing, but I think we lost to y'all. Like we lost a few games, but seventh grade. But we took it as a learning experience. Took it into eighth grade. We went undefeated in the city. Got the city trophy. Come on.
Okay,
But yeah,
no,
nah.
definitely. I'm glad Zayd touched on the time of COVID and things like that is an unfortunate event, but Zayd, I'll let you continue with your question. I just had to give a little shout out to Maple Park and those guys.
Man, shout out. Yeah, man. Like I said, like he was mentioning before, COVID is obviously your freshman year. And you can really saw you kind of, pop off after that COVID time and saw as a separation time that you kind of separate yourself from a lot of guys. What was that experience like for you as a freshman when that COVID time came around?
Yeah. Well, initially, like freshman year was going, and then I got to play as a freshman, and we were doing really good that year. Got to like the Final Four, and then COVID happened, so I was already kind of like on a high, just having a good freshman year and ending off the way we did. and then just obviously was excited for the Final Four, and then COVID happened. Then you really don't know what's going on, so we were just at home, honestly. But my brother was in college at the time playing sports. I think that's also another thing that helped me because, uh, my dad, he just really wanted us in the gym, so we were just trying to find anything to do. And I think EU is there. We found a little church up by St. Pius, and shout out like Mike Sansoni, but he kind of got us the little hoop gym during COVID, and we would go up there, and then we have like Ochai would come in with us, and we just kind of working out, just doing our own thing. And then also another thing during COVID is shout out Pine Grove
Man,
because
shout
we
out.
had a little basketball court. Shout out Bird for that. But we were just trying to find any hoops we could all COVID, so we was just hooping mostly outside, but when we could find a gym, we found it, and I think that's all it really was, just staying consistent.
I think you touched on it too of like the when we talked earlier about the community base and how consistent that presence is in Kansas City basketball, did obviously having to step away from the classroom and step away from the general high school experience. Do you feel like that time isolated your hunger and love for basketball to show you like, okay, this is something I really want to put my time into and things like that?
Yeah, I think, COVID had a lot to do with, I feel like even the person I am today. I kind of talk to my mom about it all the time. It's like before COVID, like you just regular student going to class, seeing people every day. And then, COVID happened my freshman year of high school. And since then, Um, I really didn't have like a full year of school necessarily. I guess my senior year was kind of full, but like sophomore year weren't there. Junior year, like wore masks the first part and kind of like 50-50. And then senior year we had school. But since then, this last year in North Carolina was like my first time in real in-person classes. So, I think all that time off I was just in the gym. And I think, a lot of kids don't have that opportunity to really be in the gym the way that I did. So I think that kind of, benefited me in a way, but also a social way. It was a little different route, but I think that all kind of played a part in it.
Definitely. And being at Staley, I mean, you don't got too many high school teams in the Kansas City on the Kansas or Missouri side. I mean, you don't Staley probably had at least the whole starting lineup was gonna go play college basketball. You had you, E, Big Cam from Iowa and some other what was it like for you, being at Staley at a school that was really grooming people to go play collegiately? Obviously, Coach Neff was coach at MoCan, coach a lot of great players. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think that's obviously where my career took off at. And Coach Neff, he was a guy that I believed in from like middle school. So when we moved to Staley and moved basically to play for him. So went there and played for him, and obviously it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot from him and got a lot better. And he kind of propelled me into what I am today.
Definitely. And what are like obviously being a player that's played for Coach Neff, we can both speak extensively on some of the lessons learned that on and off the court that he's able to teach you about life and things like that. If you care to share just like one of the things that he's been able to teach you or one of the things that Staley basketball, even off the court too, like we could touch on the basketball side of things, but like you know how he is, bro. He'll have you at the crib eating everything like that. So like to kind of touch on that relationship and how he's been able to um be a light in your life.
Yeah, I think Coach Neff has been honestly like a little extension of my family since since I went to Staley. I think me and his relationship is almost even more extensive than a lot of people, and I think that's just because we spent so much time together. We had countless hours in the gym practicing every day. So I mean, 4 years of that, you kind of get to know somebody well, and even off the court, like you said, he made meals for me sometimes. I was over at his house a lot, so I think just that relationship built in that time. Even now, we still kind of talk a lot. He helps me out. I know we're gonna get to it, but like in the transfer portal, that was somebody I talked to a lot. So, that's just my guy, and he's always a helping hand for sure.
100%, man. I want to be able to speak too on Coach Neff, just his patience with us, bro. Because like this is a story that kind of go behind the curtain a little bit, but like I remember we was over there for like a what was it, like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or something, like it was something like that during the season, and like we was down there like wrestling or something like that, and a lamp got broke, and he didn't even flinch off the lamp. He was just like, man, y'all gotta chill, like you know what I mean, and you
And
know. I feel like we could touch on the stories. I think we thinking of the same one where his patience was
I,
really for
but
sure.
yeah, I know a couple other stories that I could tell, but
Okay. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but all I'm gonna say is we was just at Neff's house one day in the summer after like one in the morning workouts, and we just on a trampoline hooping, and it was cool until some I'm not gonna say names, but
Don't say no names. Don't say no names.
somebody got in the mean headlock, and dude who was in the headlock just seen the arm and just took a bite out of it, and
Damn. Yo,
scars to this day is
that's
still.
Staley, bro.
Nah, they was wilding. This wasn't even me. I wasn't in the
See,
tramp.
but in order for that to happen, there has to be some type of instigation going on the outside, Zay. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, Kyan wasn't involved.
Was
We not gonna say no
he was
names.
wilding.
I don't know how y'all get down on the Missouri side, bro, but I don't know if people are biting each other on the Kansas side, but maybe that's just a Missouri thing. I don't
Watch
know.
out,
Hey,
bro. Watch out.
them gritters though.
Man,
Uh,
obviously, individually, there's a lot of success that has come your way on the basketball court and things like that, and it's been highlighted many times, and we'll take a quick second to highlight it. Um, was there ever a point throughout your high school career where you were receiving the honors, being on behalf of Staley? Obviously, there's a lot of team success, but individually as well. Was there ever a time where that success felt isolating for you, in a sense?
uh, I never really felt isolated. Honestly, I never felt like I was like. I just felt like we was all equal at all times at Staley. I felt like that was kind of our thing. Like, we was just all cool, and I don't think we thought much on, accolades and stuff like that. I think we all just enjoy winning, and we did that a lot. So I think we all just kind of had the same experiences that way. But
Definitely. Looking back at your Staley high school career, what's kind of a moment that, still sticks out to you to this day?
mm, I think, I mean, obviously winning state, that was fun. I think our junior year district championship game though, that game was fun. Uh, I don't know. There's a lot of good memories. But yeah, those are two fun ones though. I think those
Man,
are two best.
Zayd, I don't know if you was tapped in, bro. When he talks about the junior year, obviously I wasn't a part of the roster that 23 season, but watching that team make the run that they did and coming back after the year that, I felt we could have won something. I'm not going to speak on coulda, woulda, shouldas here. We had a good team and we got to where we were supposed to get to, but like watching that district championship game, if you ever have a moment as an individual player where you're like, man, like I could do something with this game. I'm kind of nice, you know what I'm saying? But if you ever get a chance and you're watching someone else play, I'm watching, bro. Now I'm like, hold on. I ain't never I ain't never seen him do this before. What is he on?
Nah, yeah, that game was wild though, for sure. That was lit
Definitely.
too.
And the competition level too was really high. Speaking on the team that we played against, the Liberty Blue Jays, having Bennett Sturts, Luke Stubbs, um, Dylan Gorman. I mean, just a pretty balanced team overall. Like, it
Man,
was
that's when
impressive.
Who Focus was still running a little bit. I remember the Liberty Staley game. Got a little.
No, that was red. That was red, bro. Red was
Oh,
holding
Red
it
Tails.
down.
Yeah, my bad. Not Who.
Yeah,
Hard time.
yeah, he was before us, bro.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah. When did your recruiting process kind of start? And, kind of just walk us through what that time period was like for you.
Yeah. The first. I mean, now it's three recruiting processes later though. You want the first, second,
Now we'll
third?
get the first one coming out of high
First one.
school.
So in high school, I really didn't have a lot of schools texting me. Honestly, there was like, some MVC teams were texting me, but I really didn't have too many offers. And then I went to like MoCan. We had a session in Kansas City. I played pretty good, and I got like 6 or 7 offers then. So yeah, no pun intended. But I got some offers during that, and then that's when I was kind of like, okay, I got some D1s now, so it's like, I got to kind of find a decision to make. But especially my senior year, transfer portal was just starting up. It wasn't nowhere near what it was today, but I still felt like I want to commit early and not get passed up on. And one school that always was texting me was Colorado State at the time, and I just felt like it was a great place for me, great fit, and great people, and that's kind of where first recruiting took me and committed. Think it was like on my birthday, my senior year. So before senior season, committed, and then from there was a Ram for 2 years.
And having that consistent outreach from the Colorado State staff and things like that kind, how did that help with your confidence and your assurance going into those 2 years that you spent at Colorado State?
Yeah, I think even before that, I think committing before my senior year started gave me just like so much of a relief and confidence to where I could just go play and I didn't have to worry about nothing like that. And then
Mhm.
obviously going into Colorado State, they had a really good year the year before or 2 years before I got there. And they had some injuries the year after that. And I got there and, we had a lot of good dudes, good players, and we had high expectations. And, we had another good year, made it to the tournament. And, I got to learn from just a lot of good vets, a lot of good dudes and great players. So it was definitely a great experience.
Definitely, bro. Coming out of high school, what do you think was like the biggest adjustment you had to make with your game? Transitioning from the high school to the collegiate level.
I think coming out of high school was 100% just the physicality. I always talk to our old weights coach, JP. He was like, I was like 155 pounds going in there. So I was a little dude and, just getting there. The bumps and hand checks are just different in college than it is in high school. And then I think the other thing is just the mindset and mentality you have to have in college, just every single day being consistent and getting your work in and understanding what it takes to be good at that level.
What do you feel geared you to continue to do that as you got there? Because I think that a lot of players have a momentum when they're coming out of high school, especially when you get to that level of like, all right, like I've got to Division 1 level. I'm gonna just kind of chill, go to class, pull up to practice, and I think you kind of touched on it of seeing like, okay, there's a shift. I got to start lifting a little bit more. I got to start taking care of my body a little bit more, getting in the gym. What is that? Where does that momentum come from of continuing to want to get better and things like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, honestly, I don't even know if I would have did it if I was on my own, but I think I made the perfect decision coming out of high school, going to where I went. I had coaches and older players that already have been doing it, and they kind of just showed me the way. I was like, we had a really old team, and there was 2 freshmen. It was me and a foreigner, and he was a whole year older than me. So I was just super young compared to everybody. So I was just learning everything every day, just kind of watching what the older dudes did, and I was doing exactly what they did. So I was like, if I'm doing what they're doing now, it's only up for me from here. So I think
Yeah.
kind of that was what it was for me, and just kind of keeping my eyes open and just learning everything. So I think that's what it was.
Definitely, bro. And you mentioned earlier you got experience, going to the NCAA tournament while you're in your time at Colorado State. Because do you have to have at Colorado State? Do you have to win your conference tournament to make it to the NCAA tournament?
So the first year we got a what do they even call it? We got a well the second year we won the tournament, so it was an automatic bid, and then whatever they call, I don't even know what they call it. They call it like a whatever. I don't know, but the thing you where you don't have to win a tournament, we did that first year. So we had our net was good enough to where we didn't have to win a tournament. But
Mhm.
no. So it's not a one bid league. I think the
Okay.
first year we had 6 teams in, second year we had 4. So
All
Mountain
right.
West was doing good. So it was doing real good.
Very cool. And you kind of what was that experience like, get to play at that stage, playing in the NCAA tournament for the first time?
Yeah, it was crazy. The first one, it's just like growing up as a kid, it's like March Madness. You're always watching it. You never really know what it's like behind the scenes, but it's business for sure. It's kind of just one thing to the next. And especially, we had to play in the first four my freshman year, so we had to. It was like selection Sunday. We were all in there watching it, stressing, seeing if we were gonna get in. And then they gave us a first four game. We were like the very last team in the tournament. They gave us first four. We had to play Virginia in 2 days in Ohio. So
Man,
next morning we wake up at like 6 a.m., fly to Ohio, do like pregame practice, all that. Play Virginia, play really good. Won by like, it was a blowout win. We played really good. Then we from straight from the game in Dayton, Ohio, we flew to Charlotte the next day. Day after that, we had a game, Texas, lose that game, and then season's over. So it was just kind of like a eye-opening experience knowing it's back to back to back to back. Kind of got to
it's
be
like
on it.
this is college basketball type of moment, dude. Like
Yeah.
you go from hopping on the yellow bus to drive over to Jewel, knock that out real quick, then we back to the crib, and then it's like you touch on we got to go from Dayton to North Carolina. You said it's like
Yeah,
it's or Charlotte. It's
yeah, it's
a,
crazy,
it's
definitely.
a completely different shift, man. Um, obviously having the success you had at Colorado State, being a young guy playing, I think is very underrated these days to be a freshman, sophomore playing in college basketball, just in general, not even for you, just in general. Like people kind of overlook that as like, oh yeah, well he's highly recruited, he's supposed to play, but like that's been a big shift. I feel like just in basketball in general. Like it's not common that freshmen and sophomores play a ton, at least back in the day, you know.
Right,
So
yeah. Go ahead, finish what
no,
you were
I was
saying.
just gonna say like being a younger guy on an older roster, getting an opportunity to get out there, get a rub and things like that. Take a second on that one, but be able to get a rub out there and just like understand, like okay, I'm making something happen. I guess I'm asking like, what is that like to be able to be like, I'm able to play with these older guys. Kind of a callback to what you said earlier.
Yeah.
You've always played against older guys with your older brother and things like that.
Yeah, I think my first year it was definitely like a just kind of get out there and kind of get a feel for the game and my first year I was just getting in. I wasn't trying to mess up. So I'm just trying to be out there and just kind of do what coach wants me to do and just kind of stay in my lane, don't do too much. And then like as far as my second year though, my sophomore year, it kind of took me a few games, but once I got comfortable, then I was like, all right, then it's kind of time to start hooping and just kind of get to it now. But yeah,
Make some
it's different
mistake.
and understanding the roles. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Definitely, bro. I think a lot of people from outside looking in, they don't understand everything that really goes into college basketball. There's a lot of, early mornings, late nights, on the bus late, whatever. What are some of those sacrifices you found yourself making, in those first 2 years that a lot of people just wouldn't understand from the outside looking in?
Yeah, I think like the first one is like, college is um it's we're there to learn and be academics, but at the same time, our sport requires a lot from us, and especially I think just the traveling, you know, especially coming out of high school, it's like so something little is just like traveling. Like you got to pack every single time, and you got to unpack, and you just I think it kind of takes you. You can't be lazy in college, or else that's kind of where you just fall behind. I think that was one of the things I learned. Just I just got to stay on top of things, and when you become lazy, it trickles over into everything you do. And I think that's something that I learned in that first year.
This guy's a real vet, Zay. This guy
Yeah,
sounds like
for
a
sure.
real vet, man. Obviously, you,
vet now.
you said what?
I'm telling you, I'm vet now. Year
Hey,
three,
come
year
on.
away.
You take a shift and you kind of bet on yourself when you enter the transfer portal after your second year of college. What was that transition and experience like for you? Touch on it real quick.
Yeah, the first transfer portal was, obviously coming out of the tournament, had a great year with Colorado State and then played good at the end of the year. And, coach leaves. So then, I'm in a position and thought, gotta leave and kind of figure out what I can do. And try and do what's best for myself. And then I landed on North Carolina, and I mean, it's North Carolina, so I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, as in, the why and where my thought process was, and it was crazy. Um, a lot different than like my high school recruiting. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of schools in high school, and then second time around, you start hearing and getting calls from people, you never thought you would get calls from, and it was a whirlwind for sure, and it was like a learning experience and something to, I'm definitely gonna keep with me and keep in the back of my mind for other tough decisions in life. But it was a good time though.
Definitely, Brandon. What do you think was like the hardest transition, coming from Colorado State to going to, one of the top college programs in college basketball at North Carolina?
I think North Carolina, there is, the brand of North Carolina is so big to where, to be successful there, it's not only basketball. You gotta have like a little extra to you, and you have to be able to do a lot more and deal with a lot more other than just the sport itself, which
Yeah,
is, all schools have that, and then but just North Carolina is obviously much bigger scale.
definitely. And it's a great opportunity, as you touched on, and a big learning experience to be able to have had that and to be able to say like, man, I was a Tar Heel, man. Like I did a lot of time as a Tar Heel, and I think anybody that's been around you and anybody that's um, been able to share time with you understands that that's a big deal, and it's a commending thing to say. You know what I'm saying? But you take your time there, and now we're here, and potentially your last year. We don't know how college basketball is going to play out within the next year with all the rules and stuff like that. And we're not here to give our opinions on that and how they should do and what they should do and stuff like that. But how do you feel going into this new season, man? A great opportunity at Minnesota, Big Ten basketball. They were crazy at home last year, bro. Insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can say it for sure.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know they were crazy at home. Like, I know that for a fact.
Yeah, but this is my old going back to my Colorado State coach. So,
Mm,
having that connection, that was something I was really looking for in the transfer portal process this time around. Just, going somewhere that I already have a connection with the coach and understand their philosophies and, you know, just how it's gonna go. And I think that's something the transfer portal, you never really know. You're only gonna commit to when you're being recruited for, I mean, 2, 3 weeks, nothing longer than that, and you just kind of have to make your decision. And you'll really never know if you pick a new coach what the day to day is going to look like or how you'll mesh with them. But going back to someone I already played for felt like a great decision for me. And then as well as my sisters live there, so that's a bonus. I'm an uncle to 6 nieces and nephews, so I'm gonna have a lot of family out there at all times for me, and I'm excited for this. Like you said, Big Ten basketball. So it's gonna be fun.
Definitely, bro. Going into your last season of college basketball, you can call yourself a vet now. You've done 3 years, going on to your fourth year of college basketball. What's something you know now that you feel like you did not know when you first started off as a freshman?
Um, Something I know just about basketball in general,
Basketball
or
wise, yeah. Just basketball wise, how you approach the game.
I think just kind of just like I touched on already, just having the consistency. I think that I think just consistency is just the most important thing. I think that no matter who you are, if you're consistently lifting weights, you're gonna get stronger. If you're consistently playing basketball, you'll get better. And then with the way goes both ways, from on the court and off the court, just being consistent in everything you do. I think that's just one of the most important things when it comes to anything in life. So I think that's what I've learned the most.
yeah, man. And we can sit here and obviously we've taken about 30 minutes or so to talk basketball and your journey. And it's been an incredible journey and it's still going on. And we wish you the best in regards to your basketball career. But want to take a step back here for the next couple minutes away from basketball and obviously what it's done for you and done for your family and your life and things like that. But I remember I remember watching a video on Instagram and it was like one of those get to know you videos when you start off the season with the new team and stuff like that. And they asked the question of who is Kyan Evans? You were like, oh man, I'm a chill guy. I like to hang out with family and play the play the game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll ask a similar question to that one, in the sense of, who is Kyan Evans when basketball is not involved, and what are some of the things you like to do off the court?
Like you said, just chill guy, like to hang with the guys, but nah, I just really am. I'm just either I'm with the family, with my family, or with some friends. I'm just always kind of, I just like to do whatever my friends doing. So hey, we going bowling. I'm gonna go bowling, and I'm gonna probably win too. So hey, that's just how I feel. But nah, I'm just I just like to hang out with people and just kind of have fun and just enjoy life. You know, I think it's
Definitely,
always
bro.
better with people that you're friends with and have fun with. So
Definitely, bro. You right now, what would you say your biggest non-basketball interest is?
biggest non-basketball interest. Uh, I'm always go back and forth on this. Like every year, I have a little time frame, but right now, I've really been watching a lot of fishing. So I need to when I get to Minnesota, my brother-in-law, I've been telling him we're gonna go ice fishing. So if he sees this, he'll know, got to go ice fishing sometime out there. But I'm looking to catch something big in Minnesota
Have
for
you
sure.
have you ever seen I think it's called Landman?
Landman.
Yeah, it's like Landman or something like that. It's a dude who like he lives in Alaska, or he doesn't
Oh,
live
when
in,
he
but
and he
like
like goes on like 30
yeah,
days. Yeah.
you ever watch those?
I be seeing like his clips, but I've never watched like a full one.
Nah, if you his videos are low. It's kind of interesting if you into that type of content
I'm
stuff
not
like
on his level though.
that.
I might get on like a little boat or something, but I can't do that. He's wilding.
I feel you.
Man, was it Tony? Was it Tony that was the other one that came on the pod that said he was fishes in his free time too? Was he the other
Yeah,
one that said
Tony a
that?
big
Yeah,
fisherman.
that's tough.
The thing about me though, I don't really like to touch the fish. I just want to catch it, and then whoever's with me,
Dog,
hey,
come on, man.
Nah, they gotta do the yeah. That's valid, honestly.
yeah, hey, I'm telling you what, spike's gonna get your hand.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna ask you a question, not about fishing. Music, man. What are you listening to these days?
Iceman right
Okay.
now, little Drake probably, but I don't know. I listen
Lucky
to a
just
lot.
dropped, bro. I feel like people sleeping on Lucky's album.
He just dropped when Drake dropped, so
That's fair.
can't do that.
That's fair.
It's pain.
And the new Drake album, bro. I was just listening today. Some bangers from start to finish. I won't lie.
Watch
Yeah.
out, bro. I ain't got no. Watch out.
Nah, he
Yeah, it doesn't.
I ain't listened to it to extensively to really know. I'm just talking. I
Yeah,
ain't
I
listened
don't
to
know
it.
about that one.
uh,
um, as of recently, what is one purchase that you've made that you actually feel like was a good purchase that was worth it? It's kind of a random question, but
nah. That's a good question. Um, I don't know. I mean, that's worth it. I think my car, that was kind of like my big purchase, and I think that's definitely worth it. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. That's got to be it. That's really that's like my one big purchase I made. So I'll say my car.
Man, we want to transition here into our final segment. We like to call it the easy choice. We're going to ask you a series of questions, and you just got to make the easy choice. It's kind of a rapid fire type of segment, but if you need to take a little bit of time to think on it, then you take a little
I'm,
bit of time.
I'm rapid fire. I'm with you. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. First question is your top three designer brands.
Mm-hmm. Mm, uh, Bottega. Balenci, I guess, and Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton.
Okay. Create the perfect starting five of NBA players.
Of NBA players,
Hmm.
no duplicates, right?
You can't go
'Cause
like
I really
Bron
go
and
five
Bron.
bronze, yeah.
No, you can't go
But
five Brons.
realistically, though, Curry at the one, Mike at the two, Bron at the three. Give me, give me Wemby at the four and Shaq at the five.
Yes.
Ooh, hey,
Mike might
shooting,
hurt y'all a little bit. Mike might hurt y'all a
shooting
little
not
bit
there too much, but you know, Curry gonna have us.
for sure. This is more of a hypothetical here. Never use social media. Ooh, never use social media again, or never play video games again.
I'll be good without social media. Not gonna lie.
You can only listen to one artist for the rest of the year. Who you going with?
Rest of the year, right?
Rod Wave. See,
Yeah.
he's pretty versatile.
I feel like I can listen to him at any time of the day. Like, some artists I'm not gonna be able to listen to in the morning, some not at night. Like, my take on that.
You gotta. Hey, be honest with us here. You don't gotta cap right now.
No
What is your
cap.
2K overall in real life?
And I got it.
What is it? What they give you?
94. Yeah. Big
That's valid.
94 on
Valid.
my team.
That's
My team
valid.
called 94.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit here, in high school basketball, you like an AAU basketball atmosphere more or a high school basketball game atmosphere more?
I feel like that one's kind of tough. Like Peach Jam, like if I was to compare Peach Jam and like State, I would pick like the two top of the top. I would pick State probably. So high school
Okay. Who is the best player that you've shared the court with
on my team
on any team you've ever played on? You can go all the way back to the Wolverines.
is, I mean, realistically, is Caleb Wilson, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna probably have to go with Wolverines.
I know where we're going.
Jared Lee has
I
got to
know
be
where we
gotta
was
be
going.
who I ever
I know
played
where we
with.
was going.
I can't lie. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that.
I'm rolling. And the
Yeah.
last question I got for you is if you had to title this chapter of your life like it was a book, what would the title be called?
Mm, what would the title be called? That's a good one. I don't know. I guess it's just gonna have to be the get back.
Come
No,
on.
tough
Yeah,
year is the get back now. Yeah.
That's
oh
gonna
yeah,
clip nice. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty fire.
yeah.
I'm
No, that's
rolling.
tough
And if you have not already liked, commented, and subscribed, that was the easy choice with Kyan Evans.
for sure,
Appreciate
man.
y'all.
Yes, sir. And just to close out the episode, man, we just have a couple more questions. Um, looking back, when you look back on your basketball journey, 10 years from now, what do you want people to remember when they hear the name Kyan Evans?
I think just like I want them to, talk about how good I was and just kind of, I just want to be remembered as, an elite basketball player. And I think that's kind of been my goal my whole life. So just kind of elite basketball player and obviously off the court, just an elite person too.
Mhm.
I want to be great in both. So
100%. Obviously, Kyan, we appreciate you for coming on, man. Hope to see you here making some big time plays in the Big Ten. I know it's coming for you, man, and I know the work that you're putting in, it's gonna come to fruition for sure. You're in the hands of protection of the Lord, man. So I have no doubt in what you got going on. My final question for you today is if you had to pick one guest that you would like to see next on the Easy Convo, who you rolling with?
you know, pick. Can I pick two?
You can go ahead and pick two.
Just two, maybe? Yeah, I don't know if that's asking for too much, but I want to see,
I want to get one.
first Caden Evans, gotta see bro
Okay.
first he got to say. And then, I want to see Ochai. Like, you gotta get him on there. So,
Okay, so okay. On the
yeah.
on the Give me one more. Give me one more
One.
just to spice it up here. We'll roll with Caden though, for sure. I think we can make that one happen.
Yeah, all right. One more. You know, just go get Kamai Crosby on the pod. Get
Okay.
him on there, see what he has to say. I think he's got a good little story to tell. So yeah,
Definitely.
I thought I'd give you those two.
Hey, Caden, Kamai, if you hearing this, man, tap in
Yep.
with us.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Again,
But yeah, man, I think that's all we got today. We appreciate you coming on. It was dope hearing your story. Obviously, best of luck to you in the Big Ten this year. You're gonna have a great year, I'm sure. And yeah, man, you got anything else, bro?
Nah, man, go ahead and throw him one, bro.
All right, man. For everyone listening, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you like, comment, and share. And we'll be back. We'll be back. Hold up.
Yeah, you gonna butcher the home run, dog.
Hold up, bro. We'll be back next time. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
stay y'all.